Welcome back to the newest episode of Banter.
It's episode.
6, 5, 6?
It could be 27. It doesn't matter.
Well, listen, we're just having fun out
Look,
here, you know?
if you're not paying attention, then that's on you.
Yeah. We're just having fun out here, you know? We're bringing you new episodes as much as we can. I believe it's 5 or 6. Regardless of the situation, welcome back. We're glad you're here. Please subscribe, like, follow, all of that. All the links are in the bio. We're here with a new episode. We got a few things we want to talk about today. The MLB All-Star Game just happened. We had some
Amazing.
we had some great bar banter tonight that we would love to talk about. And then of course, you know, as always, we got a blind rank that I'm going to give you later on in the
Okay.
show. But first, I would just like to start off with, you know, we haven't seen each other in a while. It's been about 2 weeks.
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks. So you
This-
know, what's
this
new?
guy's-
What's new around Perrysburg?
Well, this guy's working his ass off, so
I'm
that's
trying. I'm
that's
trying.
a good that's a good thing.
I would love for this to be my full-time job. So
If you
know,
like, subscribe,
and subscribe and follow, yeah.
then we could do that.
Yeah.
But no, what's good around the Perrysburg is is the bar banter.
of course.
I spent some time at a establishment called Sean's Irish Tavern.
Okay, we gotta love an old Irish tavern.
And it's good. There's 3 locations. I went to the one that was closest to me, and I'm gonna tell you, it's unbelievable because I'm sitting there, and I'm having my wings, and I'm having my fries, and I'm having my Coors Lights, and so I'm on the corner edge of the bar, and I want to ask you, what's the etiquette if a couple comes in
Mm-hmm.
and they have the ability to leave a seat between the person that's already there or not? Do you leave the seat or do you just kind of sidle up next to the person?
You know, I've always kind of been a guy where if there's an option for me to move over one seat or two to allow somebody else to bow up, I'll do it. However, I'm not gonna move over and allow that person to sit down if it's gonna be an asshole, right? So like, okay, if I get a vibe, right, when they come right up to the bar and they're kind of like, "Oh man, there's no seats at the bar. Well, maybe we can get a and you can just kind of you can get the vibe like,
Mhm.
"Oh man, like, oh guys, I'll move over for you." And then they're like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." And they're really nice about it.
Yep.
Then I'll move over. But if you get the guy who's like, "Unbelievable, no seats at the bar. What the fuck is that?" And he starts going off like, "Oh, I'll move over," and it's like, "Yeah, like." Well, then we got a different situation.
Well, I'll give you the scenario. So I'm sitting there and I'm at the corner of the bar, and I'm on the left side of the corner, and I'm sitting there, and you curve around, and there's the right side of the corner, and there's 3 seats before it gets to the server station.
Okay.
And so there was a guy who was sitting right next to the server station who had got up and left, but his drink was still there, hadn't been cleared off yet. So I'm sitting there, and then a couple comes in, and they sit there, and I don't know if they saw the empty drink still sitting there,
Okay.
and they said, "Well, okay, whatever. So we're gonna take these 2 seats." So I'm like, at first I was irritated, right? Like
Yeah.
you're
Absolutely,
crowding me
yeah.
on the corner. I had just ordered food. I hadn't gotten it yet. There's no way I'm gonna be able to sit here and order food. They sat down. They started talking about the food that they were gonna order. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So the guy to the left of me, there was a seat open, and then there was a guy, and then he ended up getting up and left. So I said to the people, I said, "Look," I said, "You know what? You guys are going to get food. I'll slide down one, give you a little bit of elbow room, because I'll tell you what, once I start eating, I just start grabbing. So I
I'm
mean,
listening. We got technical difficulties over here.
I don't know what's going on." But I said, so look, when I start eating, I just start grabbing. And if you guys are getting food, I don't want to grab food off of your plate or whatever.
Right.
So I slide down or whatever. And so whatever, they laughed about it. But then come to find out, we're more and more we're talking, and so I'm a Dearborn guy. You when you were little, there was a little bit of time that you spent in Dearborn Heights, Dearborn area, And so the guy started talking about Dearborn. He works for Ford and everything else. And I'm like, oh, okay. So boom, turn into this whole conversation. The bartender comes over. Then there's another person that comes over and sits in that other spot next to the server station. Then she just starts jumping into the conversation. And then it's like this whole big thing in this whole section. Now we're all talking, we're all having conversations and everything. And this is what bar banter is. This is what it comes to.
And it
could
was a good
start
time.
It started a little off kilter. I was a little, but you know what? I was like, oh, okay, let's make a little joke.
Yeah.
Let's get it going, and that's what it is. What it's all about. So it was good. It was a good time.
Bar banter is the greatest thing ever, quite frankly. Listen, you go, whether it's on your way home, grabbing some dinner, whether it's, you're going to get some lunch, whether it's, you had a rough night, or, there's a lot going on at the house. I'm just going to go grab a couple beers, whatever the scenario may be, going to the bar and just small talk with a random. It's fantastic,
It's so good.
And we mentioned this back in our first episode of the rebrand. That old song, was it Billy Currington? God is great.
Beer is good,
And people are crazy.
People are crazy. Yep,
And
absolutely.
I left a six pack on his grave. Left his fortune to a guy I barely knew. It's stuff like that, which is why we named ourselves Bar Banter, right? Is those type of moments, and I've encountered a few old timers who I've had the greatest conversations with sitting at the bar, and so I always love a good bar banter. Right?
It's so good.
Tonight we
had
a good time. Played some pool with some people that some mutuals that we knew.
Yeah.
And we also met some good people as well.
Coming in, and you end up knowing the bartenders and everything, right? Of
course,
and stuff like that. So it was like, oh, hey, we recognize you, whatever. So have that conversation going on and everything else, and then as soon as I walked in, I recognized a guy who is a bartender at another bar that I frequent, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, hey, hey, I'm playing pool.
Fucking
and
love
this
this
other
guy,
kind of
by the
stuff.
way.
And
I love this guy.
My guy Pedro, shout out. He's awesome. And then there's another guy that comes up there, Ed, and he's sitting there, and we're having a good time, and then we end up playing pool and stuff like that all night long, and it was great, and that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Yep. Like, you meet people. You meet all walks, and if everybody's in the same mindset, like, look, we just want to have a good time. You got your jerks out there that are going in there looking for a fight and stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you what, most of the time, all people are they're all there to have a good time, and you're there to have a good time, and you just have a good conversation. You just have an open mind. You talk to people, and that's what bar banter is all about. And you meet great people, and you have a great time, and you have great conversations, and you learn a lot about people that are in a different walk of life than you are, and I love it. It was great. It was great time. Great atmosphere. We had a lot of fun. We got our asses handed to us a little bit.
We did. We lost in pool drastically. We like to pride ourselves on being athletes, tremendous. Not quite as tremendous as Tommy.
Yeah, no. Listen. We all love Tommy. We're so thankful that he was able to be on. We put out a bunch of clips of him, and he was fantastic and everything else. And we're gonna have more people on in the future. Yeah. Because we're looking forward. We've already got a list in place, and we're gonna make some calls and stuff like that. And we're just gonna have some great people involved. But yeah, no, it was good.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was good. I'm gonna tell you something. I will say this. Look, one of the guys that we were playing pool with, whatever, he's dealing with battling Parkinson's disease. And if you think about it, like you think of Michael J. Fox and stuff, that's what this guy, right? And he's playing pool, and he's running the table.
Running the table.
It was unbelievable. It was so good, and I was loving it. I was
loving
everybody. It
kicked our ass.
Yeah, absolutely kicked
our ass.
And it was, and I loved every bit of it. It was,
and he was a great guy.
Oh, such a
fantastic guy. Great dude. And that's the type of stuff we're talking about, right? No matter all walks of life, right? No matter what they're going through. And that's the thing. You don't know what they're going through, and you don't care. Because why? You're all at the bar. You're all drinking. You're having a good time. You're playing pool. You're playing darts. The music's going. He bought us a round of shots. it's those
Yeah.
type of people that make the bar banter
Yeah.
so special, which is why we are bar banter,
Right.
right? It's something that we absolutely love. And all in all,
All the world's problems.
great night.
All the world's problems.
All the world's
could be
problems. Yep.
solved with just a little bit of bar
Yep.
banter. But
And in
but
fact,
what do you got for me?
yeah. So real quickly, I've got a blind rank for you. But while we're still on the topic of bar banter, I want to give a story. So I was just for those of you who don't know, we were born and raised in Michigan, right? And we talked about Dearborn, where I was born, and all this and that. We're currently in Perrysburg, Ohio. At the time of this recording, in
The
about
bird.
2 weeks, I'll be in Columbus,
That's
baby.
right. Yep. Got it all locked
Yep,
up.
I got
locked
my
in, and
apartment.
everything else.
Everything's gonna be awesome. I will officially be I already am officially a Buckeye. I've been approved and all that. But no. So but as of right now, yeah. So we're in Michigan, and one of my jobs, and I mentioned we talked about the golf tournament a few weeks ago, where we had the simulator golf and all this and that, and I did the food reviews, and we were there by Johnny Walker and whatever. So this past weekend, or these past couple days, I was actually with Casamigos, and we were up at Mackinac Island, which was fantastic, by the way, for anybody who's from
Fantastic
Michigan.
place.
You know how fantastic Mackinac is, and Mackinac City and Mackinac Island, and then, of course, the UP. For those of you who aren't from Michigan, do some research, because, the UP and Mackinac Island and the whole Mackinac area is just, it's fantastic. You think Michigan, you think Detroit, right? And then you realize that there is the Upper Peninsula and there is Mackinac, and it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like Detroit and Southeast Michigan, I mean, that's 20% of the entire state, right? Like, I mean, you got the West Coast, Lake Michigan, and we spent countless summers out on Lake Michigan, 4th of July's and everything else while he was growing up. And then you go all the way up into Traverse City and Torch Lake, all that whole area and everything else. Mackinac Island is a treasure.
It is.
No cars.
Yes. So when you get onto the island, there are no cars. You either rent a bike or you buy a bike if you live there. Because, by the way, people do live there.
People, yeah, there's a very I
Very
believe
few,
it's a
but
few hundred people that live on the island year round. But it's
Which-
mainly tourists.
yes,
and
and you have
everything
to take a ferry to get to the island.
else. Yep.
So when you're there, you can travel by horseback, right? Or not horse. You don't ride a horse, but carriages,
Horse and
right?
buggy.
Yeah, horse and buggy,
or a bike.
or a bicycle. And now the people that live there year round, there is like a little grocery store on the island. It's not great, but it's there, right? So a lot of people take the ferry back to the inland, and they go stock up for a couple months, and then they take the ferry back, and then the water freezes, and they're stuck there for 4 or 5 months, which is it's an
It's-
insane lifestyle, and kudos to them, because I
Yeah.
can never do it. Right?
But I will tell you though, the island is incredible.
The island is
The
fantastic.
island is absolutely incredible.
In fact, I was there for a boat race. The ceremony was really cool. We had a whole event. There was a band. Everything was awesome. But point of the story is, so I'm there for work, right? And they paid for my stay. They paid for my hotel. Everything was awesome. And in fact, on my way up there, my hotel was in St. Ignace, in the Upper Peninsula. Right, so I crossed the Mackinac Bridge. For a lot of people, you may
on.
not know the
I'm
Mackinac
gonna
Bridge.
tell you
Yeah.
something.
What's
I'm
your
gonna tell you
take
something.
of the Mackinac Bridge?
So I'm gonna tell you, I gotta pause you right there, because hold on, let me tell you something about this Mackinac Bridge. So it's what's considered a suspension bridge. Now you know what that means, right? Like, a suspension bridge means that it's not fixed. Because the problem is, because of the winds that come across Lake Superior and everything else, you can't the winds are so strong that if it was a fixed bridge, it would literally just crumble
Yeah.
and crack and fall and everything else. So it has to be a suspension bridge. So what happens is, this bridge sways 30 feet in either direction. So this thing's moving 60 feet at a time based off of the wind. All right. Okay. Not only that, but because of that, it's not paved. It's a grate, because the wind has to be able to get through, because if it was paved, it would catch it and it would throw it, whatever. So it's graded. So and I don't know how many miles it could be 100,000 miles, it could
It's
be
not.
10 miles,
It's.
whatever it
It's. I
is.
mean, you're
Listen,
crossing the
I'm
bridge
gonna
for
tell you something.
you're crossing the bridge for maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, listen, it's gonna be the scariest 5 minutes of your entire
It's
life.
not.
The thing's swaying,
It
it's
doesn't.
moving, and
No.
everything else. It's
No.
unbelievable. I will tell
No.
you one other part about
It
this.
was fine.
This
It
doggone
was
thing.
fine. It was
Let me
fine.
tell you,
was
not only driving across it. Do you know people? There's literally they schedule a walk, and people walk across this thing every year. Thousands and tens of thousands of people do a walk.
It's a great scenic. It's a great scenic route.
It's unbelievable. I'm gonna tell you. Listen,
It was.
if you want to do some stuff with the Googles, I want you to Google.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I want you to Google Mike Rowe, Dirty Jobs, Mackinac Bridge,
Mhm.
and he did a thing about the guy whose job was literally to change the light bulbs, and then the other guy whose job was to paint. And they would paint one side, cross over, paint the other side, cross over, paint back, so it wouldn't rust and stuff. It's
Listen,
unbelievable. It's
and I'm not
incredible.
denying that the Mackinac Bridge is
Terrifying.
It is. However, when I drove over it a few days ago, I was not terrified. I felt safe.
You're
It was
terrified.
secure. It was okay. It was a bridge. It was a bridge. I had my music on. I was good. I was all
Terrifying.
right.
I'll go up through Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It loop around.
I'm so glad you mentioned Wisconsin. This all ties in to the point of this story, is why I brought up my trip this past couple days. So I'm staying in St. Ignace in the UP. I'm by myself. The rest of my crew is on the island. They couldn't afford to get hotels all over the place, whatever. There were about 6 of us. There were me and like 2 other people.
There's not that many hotels on the island. to begin
Right.
with.
So there were 2 people that stayed on the island, and then the other 3 of us stayed on the UP. Cool, no big deal. I mean, they paid for my hotel. I could have stayed at a Motel 6 if I didn't pay for it. Whatever.
They'll leave the light on for you.
Yeah. They, but no. Okay, so you mentioned Wisconsin, right? So okay, I'm there in St. Ignace, and you know what? I get to the hotel. It's about 7 p.m. I'm hungry. I could use some dinner. So I hop on the Apple Maps. Closest bar nearby. There's a bar 3 minutes driving. Well, I'm like, I don't want to drive, because I want to go hang out for a little bit. I'm here by myself, whatever. So I hit walking. It says 13-minute walk. I said, absolutely.
Yeah,
13-minute
walk is nothing. That's
which,
nothing.
by the way, in the area that I'm at, there's one bar. There is nothing else. So I'm like, I'm going to make this 13-minute walk. So I make my way to a place called Driftwood in St. Ignace, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Awesome, by the way. Well, I will say there were some Team Up North flags hanging around, which were disgusting, but they were still
Why?
really good people. The bartender referred to me as Ohio. Ohio, you need another one? Ohio, you ready for food? She was awesome. Place was great. So I'm sitting there at the bar, and right next to me, there's 4 people. 2 dudes, 2 girls. 2 couples. They're on a little couples retreat. A
little double date.
little double date vacation. And they're talking to another guy at the bar. And, they're bantering a little bit. And I'm just kind of sitting there secluded in my own world. I'm scrolling Instagram, whatever. But I'm still hearing their conversation because they're right next to me. Come to find out, I hear these people are from Wisconsin. Well, the guy they were talking to, owns his own business. He's actually a lawyer and works with insurance for, people who had fires and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, they start going back and forth. Yeah, I'm actually from this. And, we're from Wisconsin. Oh, well, my business, we're based out of Wisconsin. And da-da-da, they start bantering. Anyway, the guy gets up. He leaves. So I'm sitting there. I'm wearing my Ohio State hat. And this group of people, they go, so what are you doing with an Ohio State hat all the way up here in Michigan? I said, well, I go to Ohio State. I'm a student there. And, they're like, oh, well, we're from Wisconsin. And so we start talking back and forth. Great people. I'm not going to go into details about the conversation because we'll be here for hours. It was a great conversation. We had a great time. They cash out, they leave. I cash out, I leave. Great time. The next day, I'm working the event. And I told them the night before, like, hey, I'm working an event on the island tomorrow. Look for Casamigos tents. I'll be there. I'm there, and all of a sudden, some guy comes up to me and says, hey, Jake, your grandparents are here to see you. And so I'm like, my grandparents, like what? Like, I turned around and sure enough, there they are. They found the Casamigos tents. They came and saw me. I hooked them up with some swag, some samples, whatever. It was awesome. But the point of the story is the banter of these people. And the reason they said they were my grandparents is because we were talking for a while. They were in their early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just on a retirement vacation, having the time of their life, and then they came back to see me the next day. It was a very awesome time, and that's the power of bar banter.
And that's it.
You know,
And that really is
Yeah.
what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, you meet people that you don't think that is going to turn into anything, and then all of a sudden it parlays into whatever. Like, I mean, you know, like tonight, like the guy who works at the bar that I go to all the time and everything else, and then we meet him at the one bar tonight and everything else. Him and Jake, they're exchanging numbers and stuff like that. Talk about hanging out in Columbus and all this other kind of stuff. Like, I mean, he's a great dude and all this other kind of stuff. But this is what I'm talking about. This is the bar banter stuff. And you know, when we have some more guests on, you know, kind of like, you know, one of my good buddies, Bill, he's going to join us, you know,
Love Bill.
and that's where, like, really the banter, like, every single time we would go out, we would travel for work a lot, and it was always like, he's like, I want banter. I need to get some banter. Like, we need to go somewhere where we're going to be able to talk to people and get banter and whatever it is and all that other kind of stuff. But no, it is. It's good. It's what solves the world's problems and all that other kind of stuff. But yeah.
So I just had to share that story with us, our persona being bar banter, and we love it, and I had to share that story because we still acknowledge it, and that's why we, you know, represent ourselves as such. But there's something I want to ask you, right? So if you guys are familiar with our channel, and you guys follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and you watch our episodes,
if you're not, I don't know why.
I mean, come on, right? But you guys are familiar with the blind ranks, right? We do a couple blind ranks. We've done concession stands, spectacle events. We've done sports announcers. You know, bar food, stuff like that. We like to do the blind rank. So I've got another blind rank for my dad here today, and this is a good one, guys. So I mentioned earlier that I had just started watching Bad Monkey.
I like the
Bad Monkey on Apple TV with Vince Vaughn.
It's a great. I hope they come out with a second season.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So he finished the whole season. However,
Yeah.
I still have 2 episodes to go. I'm on
It's
episode
great.
8. There's 10 episodes. I'm on episode 8. Getting to the nitty gritty. It's getting good. But he finished it, and we talked about it. We also talked about Tires with Shane Gillis on Netflix. Fantastic. Shane
Another
Gillis
fantastic
hosted the ESPYs. I thought he did a fantastic job.
He's hilarious.
He's a good guy. He's hilarious.
People need to stop being
Yeah.
sensitive.
But-
Like, you know, comedy's comedy.
Comedy's comedy. And point of the story is we're talking about shows and
Yeah.
comedy and all this. Actors.
Actors. Okay.
So I'm going to give
Okay.
you a blind rank of actors. Now I'm not
Oh,
giving you. I'm not
boy.
giving you guys like. I'm not giving you like action movie actors. I'm not giving you Marvel. I'm giving
So
you.
you're not going by category.
I am going by category.
Oh, okay.
I'm going comedy actors.
Strictly comedy. So this is
Strictly
basic,
comedy.
My rank is based off of the comedic.
Correct. Now, not to say that some of these guys on this list have done serious movies or serious TV shows, because some of them have.
Yeah.
They've done straight serious or horror or whatever, but they're known for comedic relief.
Okay.
Just some quick honorable mentions, and this is going to be good for you too, because I feel like the honorable mentions are important. I'm gonna give 4 honorable mentions here. David Spade is an honorable mention, right? I mean, David Spade has done a lot for comedy and for stand up and for movies alone.
I don't think a lot of people understand that period of time in Saturday Night Live with Adam Sandler and Chris Farley and all those guys. David Spade literally wrote 95% of
Correct.
all those skits.
Correct.
Like, I mean, just if
And
you
that's
think
why-
about that, like, I mean, like, he's the mastermind
He is.
behind that whole group.
Yeah, no, he is.
Yeah.
Which is why I put him as an honorable mention because obviously he's top 2, right? Another honorable mention, Ben Stiller.
Yeah, yeah. So I love Ben Stiller. He's fantastic in the roles that he plays, whether it's the villain comic or the hero comic or whatever. I mean, something about Mary, Dodgeball. It's just it's so good, right?
Yeah, the Purple Cobras. And then, of course, Steve Carell is an honorable mention.
Yeah. Here's the thing I love about Steve Carell. Like, he's an honorable mention in obviously The Office, and then you get the Minions, and you get all this other kind of stuff.
Night at the Museum,
things like that. 40-Year-Old Virgin, all these different kinds of things. But then also like The Patient, the serious acting roles that he had, and absolutely. So that's strong.
And the last honorable mention that I have is Mark Wahlberg.
So Mark Wahlberg, like, look, he buys into who he is, right? Like, he buys into who he is. He knows that he's like I'm a Boston guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm from Southie. Like,
and a lot of the movies that he does,
guy, everything's related back to Boston.
Correct.
And everything else. And he's like, listen, I'm a Catholic from Boston and everything else, and I'm from Southie. And he's like, I drive a car to the bar and everything else, and and he knows that he's this fit guy, and he's and everything else, and you play that to what it is, and so every role that he's doing is very believable that
Correct.
this is the guy that he's doing it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's strong, whether it's a serious action or whether it's a comedic action or just comedy like Ted and all those kind of things. Like, it's good. You just rolled off 4 guys.
I rolled off some good ones, right?
And these aren't in the blind
and
rank.
These aren't even in the blind rank.
So,
which is why this blind rank is probably going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah. Yes. No. It is. It's going to be difficult.
So let's just start the blind rank. All right. All right. I'm gonna start you off here with Owen Wilson.
All right, so the last time we did a blind rank, we got a bunch of comments about how people were pissed off because they were like, just say it, like, don't rant forever. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you something. For those guys that commented and were like, oh, just say it, don't rant, don't whatever. Listen, get on your keyboards and everything else and get ready because I'm going to keep ranting.
Listen, that's the point of a blind rank. When you make a decision, you have an explanation for it, and he's got an explanation.
But okay, so listen. So Owen Wilson, I'm going to put – have you seen Stick? All right, listen, I'm going to put Owen Wilson at 3. I'm going to set the bar at 3 with Owen Wilson because of this, because I'll tell you what, the intern, he parlays with other actors very, very well. And Stick, he can carry stuff on his own. Also, Marley and Me, all that kind of stuff. I think Owen Wilson's a good 3. It's a good bar. It's a good way to set it as far as comedic actors go. 3.
I like
3.
that.
3.
Next,
Is that quick enough? Was that quick enough?
Next, I'm going to hit you with Will Ferrell.
Okay, so here's the thing about Will Ferrell. He's been in some good. I'm going to put Will Ferrell at 4.
Ooh.
He's been in great movies. I'm a little bit like Step Brothers, old school stuff like that. I'm kind of actually, you know what? I'm going to pull an audible. I'm going to move Will Ferrell down to 5.
Really?
I'm a little over it. I'm
Okay.
a little over it. Like it's played out and everything else. I'm going to put him at 5. He's been in great movies, but I don't think he carries the movies.
Okay.
I think that he's just a part of great movies.
Okay.
Step Brothers. I mean, John C. Reilly was fantastic in
What about Elf?
In that thing too. Elf is a great it's a great Christmas time movie, but I will tell you that it's maybe brushes the top 10. it's not entrenched in the top 10
I think it
because
is.
of that. But
I
you
disagree,
know,
but
listen, he's been in great movies. He's funny and everything else, like old school his characters or whatever. But yeah, he's 5. He's 5.
okay, you putting Will
He's
Ferrell
5.
5. All right,
So
next.
I got Owen at 3. I got Will Ferrell at 5.
All right, next I'm gonna hit you with Vince Vaughn.
So okay, so here's the thing about Vince Vaughn. So Vince Vaughn, I'm going because I don't know where you're going to go with this. You already threw some honorable mentions out there.
Yeah.
I'll put Vince Vaughn at number 1.
I love that.
And I'll tell you why. So Vince Vaughn, was that quick enough of an answer? It's 1. It's 1. And I'll tell you why. Because Vince Vaughn is him in every single role that he plays. And just like I said about Will Ferrell kind of is like the Robin to the Batman in a lot of movies.
Okay.
Whereas Vince Vaughn is the Batman to the Robin in a lot of movies. And, you know, his demeanor, the way that he acts, I'm going to tell you what. In Wedding Crashers, the rant, the whole Janice, I got to tell you,
So good.
I'm not, for an intimate, awkward relationship thing what people like to call dating because, do I have something on my face? Do you have something on your face? I'm going to tell you, it's unbelievable. That whole thing was like, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's a 1. He's a 1
Vince,
as far as I'm
yeah.
concerned. So
I agree with you.
I got Vince at 1. I got Owen at 3. I got Will Ferrell at 5.
And I agree with you with Vince Vaughn at 1. I like I said, we were watching Bad Monkey and all these other things, and Tires on Netflix. Vince Vaughn made an appearance in an episode, fantastic. Wedding Crashers, fantastic. Dodgeball, fantastic. Four Christmases, fantastic. You know what I mean? Vince Vaughn is amazing. Yeah. But all right, so you got Vince at 1. Okay, well that's cool. So I'm gonna hit you with Kevin James next.
Okay, so I'm gonna put Kevin. Oh boy, so I got 2 and 4 left open, and I don't know what else is left out there. But this is tough because, I'll put Kevin James at 4 just because I don't know what's left. And Kevin James, look, King of Queens, fantastic,
Great show.
He's hilarious. His stand-ups are pretty funny. I'm going to tell you, like, one of the funniest things that he ever did was when he was in his stand-up and he was like, he goes, I fell off the raft or the skis when he was behind a boat and I'm in the water. He's like, and I'm sitting there like this. He goes, and then I realized I have the exact same scream as if a shark was eating my head or if a piece of seaweed touched my toe. I mean, the way it is, it's good. It's good because I want to tell you, I'm the same. I'm the exact same. So I'm gonna put him at 4.
Okay.
Because I don't know what's left.
Well, I think you'll be very pleased to know what's left. Because your only spot open, number 2, is Adam Sandler.
That's good. Yeah. I love this list. This list could not have been any better. So Adam Sandler at 2. Adam Sandler's fantastic. I'm old enough to remember him on Remote Control.
Yeah.
MTV Remote Control. He was fantastic. And then he's turned into all this stuff. That's good.
So you got Vince Vaughn at 1, Adam Sandler at 2, Owen Wilson at 3, Kevin James at 4, and then you've got Will Ferrell at 5.
And I will tell you, all 4 of the honorable mentions that we talked about beforehand would be above Will Ferrell.
Really?
Yes. I would do
You'd put Steve Carell and David
absolutely.
Spade and all these guys above Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, he's had some great roles, but again, it's for me, it's a little bit played.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. What about these stand-up comedians that are getting movie roles now, like Shane Gillis in Tires? Okay. Let's talk about Andrew Schultz, Kevin Hart, who's got all these movies out now. I guess Will Smith, maybe. What about Martin Lawrence? We're talking about a lot of guys who have had shows and have had stand-up and whatever. What is your opinion on these guys making movies when Adam Sandler and your David Spades and whatever have done comedy because they already had made a living off of movies, right? So they did stand up after the fact. What about the guys that started in stand up and whatever, and then have made their way to movies? Now, no,
Yeah.
Not Will Ferrell. Will Smith is not one of those. Will Smith obviously made music and Fresh Prince and all that, but
Oh, I'm
you got a bloody nose. Oh my god! Holy shit, guys! Let's call a medic. We got an injury timeout here. Injury timeout.
So where were we?
We were wrapping up the blind rank. You chose Vince Vaughn as your 1, Adam
Yep.
Sandler as your 2, Owen Wilson as your 3, Kevin James as your 4, and Will Ferrell as your 5. And in fact, you said that the honorable mentions of David Spade and guys like that were above Will Ferrell. That's a good blind rank. I'm not mad at your blind rank. Ben Stiller, you got guys like Ben Stiller in there. You got guys like Mark Wahlberg above Will Ferrell. Now let me ask you this. You did the blind rank, and that's fine. But there might be a guy that I didn't put in there. Who's your favorite comedic actor of all time?
Oh boy, favorite comedic actor of all time. That's a. I mean, I can go back. I can see. I'm an old guy, so I can go back. I can go back to like Richard Pryor. I can go to those guys, Gene Wilder. They were fantastic. I mean, I think Kevin Hart's unbelievable.
Kevin Hart's great. And that's where I was asking you. I was
Yeah.
like, guys like Shane Gillis and Andrew Schultz and Kevin Hart and these guys who do stand-up comedians, stand-up comedy specials who now are in movies and do great at it too. Kevin Hart, I think, did a fantastic job in Man from Toronto. I think he did a fantastic job in, in fact, he did that movie. It was still kind of a comedy movie, but was The Upside. I think he did a great job there.
Yeah.
So you got guys like that. So that was my question. What is your take on guys that have kind of started, and like I mentioned, Shane Gillis, who did the ESPYs. What is your take on that? Like guys who started there that are,
And that's the thing. Okay, so people don't know about so I grew up in just outside of Detroit and everything else. A lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of everything else in Chicago. And Chicago was Second City, right? I mean, that's where a lot of these guys got their break. I mean, when you talk about like Adam Sandler, you talk about Chris Farley, you talk about Norm Macdonald, you talk about all of these guys. They started out as stand-up comics and then got to Saturday Night Live, and then Saturday Night Live to then parlayed them into movies and stuff like that. I mean, I think that's the way that you go when it comes to that. I mean, Shane Gillis, I mean, he's a stand-up guy, right? Like, and then all of a sudden you get, and now we're talking about guys like Nate Bargatze. Like Nate Bargatze's fantastic. I mean, his stand-ups are unbelievable.
And what about Tom Segura and Burt Kreischer?
Exactly. And then all of a sudden they're in movies.
Yeah.
And they're in TV shows and everything else. And so I think
Key and Peele.
Oh, absolutely. Shout out to my guy from Grand Rapids, and
Keegan
Michael Key, and these guys are fans. And Kevin Hart, we talked about him and stuff like that. And so the stand up parlays into it because again, it's delivery, it's timing, it's everything else. And if you can do that on a stage where you're vulnerable and it's just you up there, you can absolutely do it when you have take 1, take 2, and everything else and all that other kind of stuff. So I think like number one, if you're a good stand-up comedian, you're going to be a great comedic actor.
But let me ask you this though, like do you think Vince Vaughn would do well in stand-up? Because you put him at your 1, and I agree with you. I think Vince Vaughn's my favorite actor of all time. I put him above Adam Sandler as well. Do you think that he could make a living or a career out of stand-up?
Absolutely, and he's done some stand-up, but and I'll tell you, I think that because of the way that he delivers like. He could literally stand on a stage and deliver these lines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The rants that he has in certain movies
Yeah.
and things like that, and the way that he like responds. So like the big thing now is like, like Matt Rife and these guys.
I love Matt Rife. I think Matt Rife is hilarious too.
Andrew Schultz.
But Matt Rife hasn't done any TV shows or any movies or anything.
but I think that that's probably coming because what happens is when you get guys that are able to one, you know, stand up and deliver the
Mhm.
timing and deliver the everything else, and then all of a sudden now you're interacting with the audience and you're
Yep.
interacting with the audience and it's like unscripted.
Yeah.
It just parlays into
Yeah.
the movie stuff.
Yeah.
I think that yeah, like I think that that's if you got a great stand up comedian,
Hmm.
um, you know, um, like let's talk about like even some of like Nikki Glazer.
Yeah. Nikki Glazer, of course.
I mean she's gonna be I mean, okay.
Okay.
So
What about
Megan McCarthy.
what about Kill Tony?
Um, yeah,
Like Adam Ray and Tony Hinchcliffe and those guys.
I think that the problem is you have to you have the ability to carry a show.
Yeah.
You get guys like Cedric the Entertainer. You get guys like all these old school guys and everything else that then
Eric
all of a
Andre.
sudden, yeah, and they get shows because of what they did and everything else. I mean, Tina Fey,
Yeah.
and I'm drawing a blank. Parks and Rec. What was her name?
Yeah. I don't
That
know.
carried that. I mean, it was stand up.
Yeah.
So you look at the people that host all the night shows. You go
Yeah.
back to Johnny Carson, you go back to Jay Leno, you go back to all these people. Jimmy Fallon and everything.
Yeah.
They
I like Jimmy
started
Fallon.
in stand up.
Yeah.
And now here they are, and they're hosting shows and they're doing movies and things like that. So yeah, stand-up's the gateway.
Yeah.
It's the gateway
It's
drug.
the gateway.
It's the gateway drug, right?
Leave in the comments who your favorite stand-up comedian is. Also, leave in the comments who your favorite comedic actor is. We would love to hear it. It would be great to hear. Now, Dad. While we're still here, you did have something that you brought up to me the other day, and I thought it was a great topic. You wanted to talk about it. You were sitting there watching the Celebrity All-Star Game.
Yes.
So what do you want to bring to life here in that regard?
So I think that the funny thing about it is you watch the celebrity so it's All-Star weekend, right? And so there's and I'm going to tell you, again, we've talked about this over and over and over again about how baseball is the only All-Star weekend that matters,
Yeah.
right? Like everything else it's dumb. Like, the dunk contest in the NBA is
we watched the WNBA.
the
Stuff
WNBA had their like skills competition. And it was chest pass, bounce pass, outlet pass. Like, what are we doing? Here?
Layups.
We're talking about this stuff and everything else. So when it comes to the baseball All-Star game, it is the weekend that matters the most. And so you start off with the celebrity softball game. And I was watching it, and I texted Jake, and I said, "I'm going to tell you something. I think this is the barometer for when you're getting old." Because I was watching it, and it was Jermaine Dupri, who
I don't know who Jermaine Dupri is.
right, and I'm
I
like,
know who Max
how do you not
Dupri.
know? I don't know how you don't know who Jermaine Dupri is.
All my wrestling fans out there know who Max Dupri is, but I don't know who Jermaine Dupri.
And I'm watching. There's Terrell Owens. There's CC.
I know T.O.,
Sabathia,
and I know CC.
And everything else. But it's like I know all these guys and everything else, and I know Maria Taylor because she's fantastic at what she does. As far as the reporting and everything else, and she does a great job. But then Jenny Finch.
I know Jenny Finch.
But beyond that. I knew Nikki Cass because you were on the TikToks too, and
gotta
everything
love
else.
Nikki
So you love
Cass,
Nikki
man.
Cass, and he's fantastic and everything else. But beyond that, I was like, I don't know who these dudes are.
What other names can you? Because I didn't watch it.
I don't even know who these people were, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, see, this is where the age thing comes into play, and it's the best barometer for determining whether or not you're getting old, because. It's like, okay, do I know who these people are on the celebrity events? So whenever there's a celebrity thing that happens, I think that this is where you determine whether or not you're getting old. What generation are you in? Because again, like I said, there was all the older guys and gals that
Okay.
I knew.
I got the list.
Yeah, you got the list. Pull up the list. Let's talk about this because this is where you determine your age.
So I don't know who Storm Reed is.
No idea. I never heard of a storm.
JID.
No idea.
I know who JID is. He's a rapper. He's really good. He's got a couple songs with Denzel Curry. He's got a couple songs with J. Cole. He's got a couple songs. JID is a fantastic rapper. He's got Jordan Lucas, all sorts of guys. Harry Douglas.
I don't know.
I don't know who Harry Douglas is.
I don't know who Harry Douglas is.
Dasha Polanco. Don't know who that is either. Michael Kelly.
Okay, so Michael Kelly I know because Michael Kelly is he was the actor that was in the Kevin Spacey what's the show House of Cards.
Oh, House of Cards.
House of Cards,
Okay.
and then he's been in a bunch of other stuff like so I know him
Okay.
but he's an older dude. He's like my
Yeah.
age.
Okay.
You know.
And then obviously Jermaine Dupri, Javi Lopez.
Well, Javi Lopez, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who Javi Lopez.
So Javi Lopez was a baseball player.
Party foul. All right.
Javi Lopez was a baseball player.
I don't know who Javi Lopez or Jermaine Dupri is. We got Candy Burress.
I don't know who Candy Burress is.
We got Quavo. You know who Quavo is?
I've heard the name Quavo
From the Migos.
I'm going to tell you something.
Quavo from the Migos.
I have heard Quavo
From Atlanta, Georgia.
Again,
Mama.
Again, I've heard Quavo. If I had to pick Quavo out of a lineup, he would
Okay.
go free.
So Quavo was in the Migos. His cousin,
I don't
or
know what
his
a
nephew.
Migos
I mean,
is.
it's the rap group Migos. In the kitchen, wrist twisted like a stir fry. In the kitchen, wrist.
I do like to eat a good stir fry.
Walk it like I talk it. Hey,
Oh, okay.
walk it like I
I
talk
can
it.
walk it like I talk it.
So that's the Migos. It's Quavo, Offset, and
know who that
Takeoff.
is.
Takeoff tragically passed away
Okay.
in 2021.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Unfortunately. But Quavo.
Okay.
Quavo is part of the Migos. Again, CC Sabathia. We know CC.
We know
Sabathia. Ellie Duncan.
The name sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Drewski. You know
Okay,
who Drewski is. I
here's-
love Drewski.
So here's the thing. So
I
I'll
love
tell you,
Drewski.
this is what I learned from this about Drewski.
Drewski's hilarious.
Okay, so I didn't know that Drewski started a record label.
He did. Could have been records.
Could have been records. I didn't know that. I thought Drewski was the sidekick of Theo Von.
Yeah, so Drewski and Theo Von actually, they are kind of, I wouldn't say they're like a partnership, but yes, Theo, we love Theo Von. I don't know, we love Theo Von on this channel. I think Theo Von's great. But yes, no, Drewski could have been records. He's had some great content with Kai Cenat, largest streamer in the world, aside from Aiden Ross, and he's also made.
I don't know what these words are.
Okay, well,
I don't know
for
what these words are.
anybody watching that knows, younger, whatever, Aiden Ross, love Aiden Ross. Shout out to him. That's my guy. Kai Cenat, love Kai Cenat.
Okay.
Fantastic. Duke Dennis, love him. It's kind of the streaming world, and Drewski has been a part of all of that. Drewski does a lot of comedy videos on TikTok, and Drewski also does a whole show based on Could Have Been Records where he does auditions, but it's a comedic show where he kind of hires people to come in and audition, and then he,
I know him as the person that sits on the second mic of Theo Von's show.
So okay, well he was a guest on Theo Von's podcast,
And that's where I know him from.
Okay, well Drewski is hilarious.
Okay.
He was in Drake's music video "Laugh Now Cry Later."
This is where the age comes in, right?
Well,
Like,
yeah. No, for
this
sure.
is what we're talking
He was
about,
in
right? Like
He was in Drake's music video for "Laugh Now, Cry Later."
Okay.
Drake's the greatest rapper that ever lived. And then, all right, so we also had Funny Marco. Love Funny Marco. Funny Marco's fantastic. He's done interviews with a lot of NBA guys. He did an interview with Anthony Edwards in the chicken spot when he put the fried chicken in his suit pocket. He said, "I'm gonna save that for later." He's also done interviews with Katie Cunningham, Detroit's own. Cade Cunningham. Well, he's actually not from Detroit, but he's saved Pistons basketball. He's done interviews with a lot of NBA guys. He's done a lot of stand-up. Funny Marco, his name speaks volumes. He is funny, and his name is Marco.
Okay, no idea.
Jordan Childs. The name sounds familiar, but I off the top, I really can't tell you who Jordan Childs is.
I don't know.
Off the top of my head. I really really can't. Okay, we're gonna move on here. Natasha Waitley.
Oh yeah. She's softball. Natasha Watley. She played.
Watley.
She played. I believe she played collegiately for UCLA. Softball player. She's fantastic. She's one of the best in the world. Yeah. So
Natasha, I'm single. By the way, I'm kidding.
Yeah, she might be too old for you.
I'm kidding. I'm not.
If I know who she is.
All right.
Fantastic softball player, by the way.
Dasha Polanco.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know Gregory Polanco.
I do. I know Placido Polanco.
Michael Kelly.
Again, this is the Michael Kelly House of Cards.
Oh, that's the same. Okay.
Yeah,
and then obviously,
I believe anyway. It could be the same guy. It could be a
obviously,
guy.
obviously Terrell Owens, right?
Yeah, we know Terrell Owens.
Ronnie DeVoe.
I don't know who Ronnie DeVoe is.
Neither do I. I don't know. Storm Reed.
Yeah, I don't know who Storm Reed is.
It sounds like a porn star.
Well, it might well be. I don't know. Listen, OnlyFans, feet fans, whatever. I don't know what it is. It could be a Stormy fans. I don't know.
Eladio Carrion.
Yeah, I got no idea.
Young Miko.
No idea.
Prince Royce.
No idea.
Mike Towers.
No idea.
Wisson.
No clue.
Jerry Lorenzo.
Nope.
I want to, on the record, I don't know who these people are either. Jake Storial.
Nope.
I know Jake Schwartz.
Jake Schwartz is good time.
I tell you what.
But Soriel, I got nothing.
I don't know Jake Soriel. Obviously Jenny Finch.
Jenny Finch.
Love
we know.
Jenny Finch.
Yeah.
She struck out Albert Pujols.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Maria Taylor, of course.
We know Maria Taylor. She's fantastic.
Nikki Cass.
We know Nikki Cass.
And then that's it. That's it. There's your lineup.
This is what I'm talking about. So of the people that I knew, Nikki Cass was probably one of the only younger people in the group that I knew. Everybody else that I knew was old people. Again, this is what I'm talking about. Wait a minute. I did know the Capital One Bank guy.
The Capital One Bank with Derek Jeter and
and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, this is, I think, where you can judge your level of oldness.
Okay.
And I think that this is a good thing. So celebrity all-star games and everything else. And I also want to tell you, listen, so we're going to parlay this into something else, into another story. One of the best stories I ever heard in my entire life. Okay, so Bob Costas tells this story.
I love Bob Costas.
He's a great broadcaster and everything else. So Bob Costas tells this story, and he talks about Bob Gibson. And Bob Gibson was a pitcher for I
also love Kirk Gibson.
Well, we love Kirk Gibson because, he's Gibby. But Bob Gibson, one of the greatest pitchers of all time, played for the St. Louis Cardinals. And so this is back in the 60s. And so Bob Gibson, in that day and age, it was literally, if somebody showed you up, you threw at their head. And Bob Gibson was the reason why they lowered the mound, because he threw so hard that they were like, this is unfair.
Okay.
So they lowered the mound basically because of this guy. But because also at the same time is if he felt like you had wronged his team in some way, he was going to throw your head and basically try to kill you.
Yeah.
And it was incredible because he was fantastic. So Bob Gibson, towards the end of his career, he was playing against the Chicago Cubs, and he had played for I don't know how many years or whatever. It's towards the end of his career, everything. He didn't have the stuff that he had his whole career or whatever. And I forget the guy's name on the Cubs, but Bob Gibson's last pitch as a major leaguer gave up a home run to this guy from the Cubs, and I think it might have been even been a grand slam. But anyway, at the very least, it was a home run. And then they came out and they took him out, and he never pitched again. Fast forward to 10, 15 years later. It's an alumni game between the Cardinals and the Cubs. Bob Gibson's on the mound. And this guy from the Cubs, again, I forget his name, steps into the batter's box. Bob Gibson beans him. Beans him. In a celebrity alumni game 15 years later. And so then they go up to him and they asked him and they said, what are you doing? He goes, the score had to be settled. He held on to it for 15 years.
He got his receipt.
And I'm going to tell you what, that was what it was. He
got his receipt.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah,
But,
that's fantastic.
Good.
Well,
that's good stuff.
While we're on the topic of, celebrity softball games and, whatever, and all-star games, we talked about the WNBA all-star game that happened tonight and this, that, and the third. To close it out, Dad, the MLB all-star game just happened. We had a couple Tigers there, Gleyber Torres, Javi Baez, Riley Green, Zach McKinstry, Casey Mize, and Tarek Skubal. I know you thought that list was going to go on forever. That's just what the Tigers do. However, they didn't perform.
No, they didn't perform. So, so they had the most participants of any team. They had 6 guys, and he just rattled them off and everything else. However, this is the first time in the history of the All-Star game where we've had that many players from one team, and both pitchers were unable to have a clean inning, and all 4 hitters were unable to get a hit.
I mean, that's Detroit at its finest, right? I mean, that's such a Detroit thing to happen.
But
it's the most Detroit thing I've ever seen.
But the game itself was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
And again, this is what I'm talking about with the MLB All-Star game. It is such a good game. And okay, so National League jumps out to a 6-0 lead. It's 2-0 in the first inning. Tarek Skubal gives up 2 runs, whatever. A couple of bleeder base hits and then a double or whatever, 2-run. But anyway, what it comes down to is, so it's 6-0 National League. American League claws their way back. They claw their way back into everything else, and now all of a sudden you're 6-6, and it's the 9th inning, whatever. You're going to extra innings. Well, it's the All-Star game. No pitchers are left, and everything else. So what are we going to do? It's the very first time that we did this whole deal of let's have a home run off.
Yeah,
and each manager picks 3 guys, and you get 3 swings, and however what many total your home run is or whatever. Look, again, everybody's like, let's just play baseball and da-da-da-da, and it's the records and, who gets a win and who gets a loss and all this other kind of stuff, whatever. This is the All-Star game. We know it's an exhibition, and this is what we want. We don't want to go into extra innings and have, like, what are we going to do? We're going to have position players pitching? This is not what we want. This is fun. This was cool. I texted Jake. I was like, this is actually really fun.
Yeah.
This is really cool. You get Kyle Schwarber that comes up as the number 2 guy. Yeah. And he just,
matter of fact,
home run he hits, he's on his knee.
Well, also, by the way, All-Star MVP, which I know you have some thoughts.
I don't think he should have been the All-Star MVP because of that. I think Pete Alonso should have been the All-Star MVP because he hit the 3-run home run during the game. I think that the All-Star MVP should be based off of what happened during the 9 innings, not what happened in the home run off. I do like the home run off to figure out a winner if you get into that type of a situation. Also, to talk about what happened in the All-Star game is we had the ability to challenge balls and strikes.
We've talked about it before. Obviously, if my dad could have been able to challenge balls and strikes,
I would have been a great pitcher. I would have been a great.
Yeah, when his outing as a pitcher, when he what did you hit 3 guys and walk the guy, or you walked 3 guys and hit a guy?
4, hit 2.
Yeah. So if you would have been able to do what they did in the All-Star game, you would have been fine.
I was getting
You were getting squeezed. But it was cool to see that in the All-Star game because that could be implemented in Major League Baseball and when in fact in games that matter as well.
If it's not implemented for the playoffs, it will absolutely be implemented for next year. Because what did we see? There was 4 challenges. There were 4 challenges in the All-Star game. All of them were overturned.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that the pitcher that said, I want to do this, got his strike. The batter who did this got his ball. And they were, listen, the furthest one that was off was a inch, 1.3 inches.
Yeah.
So, listen, here's the thing we're talking about these umpires and everything else. Look, I mean, for the most part, the umpires are 95+%
Correct.
correct on these things. But in key moments, when you have something, and again, we're talking about like hitting a sliver, we're
Yeah.
hitting and everything else. That's very important in this stuff. And so I love the fact. I don't want this for every pitch. I don't want it for every pitch. I love that there was two challenges per side. 2 challenges per side.
Yeah.
And if you're right, you maintain your 2 challenges.
Yeah.
If you're wrong, you lose one. And I love it. I love that. I want to see it in the playoffs, and I want to see it moving forward. I think it's fantastic, and it worked perfectly. And it did nothing to delay the game.
It didn't.
And
it didn't.
In fact, the guys were having fun with it.
They were
too.
I mean, if you look at it, the MLB posted on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and whatever, the mic'd ups and whatever, and the guys loved it, right? There were a few times where, they were mic'd up, like Scooble, for example. Scooble was mic'd up, and Scooble did that, and he ended up getting a strikeout because he did that, right? Now, obviously, we tried it in spring training, and we did it in the All-Star game. People talk about it. Okay, it's kind of like adding a runner on second base in extra innings or the pitch clock. We've talked about this before on the channel. I think it's necessary, right? And like you mentioned, every pitch, of course not, right? That would ruin the game.
Yeah.
And I think even the players would sit there and say, yes, I would never want to do that every pitch. However, allowing 2 to 3 a game, I think it's very important, right? You look at like I mentioned this before, like with the XFL being able to challenge flags, things of that nature. Imagine if the NFL could challenge flags. Rams and Saints, when Jared Goff was still in the Rams, that pass interference call. Imagine if the Saints could have challenged that. Right? Imagine if the Lions could have challenged the picked up flag in Dallas.
Yeah,
Imagine if the Cowboys could have challenged Des Bryant's catcher or not. Imagine if the Lions could have challenged Kelvin Johnson. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that, and we get to see a taste of it in the All-Star game. I think it's very important. I think it should be implemented into baseball regularly. But again, same thing we talk about with college football and the NIL and all that stuff. If we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's add some structure, and I think the MLB taking their time to do it and implementing it in spring training and an All-Star game and just kind of testing the waters, I think that's super, super smart, and I can see it happening in the future, and I think if they do it right, it's perfect.
I don't think that anything that happened in the spring training or anything that happened during the All-Star break will deter you from doing this full time.
Right.
I think that the whole 2 aside, if you win, you keep them. If you lose them. And how quick it is and everything else, I think that this just makes. There was nothing about what happened in spring training and the All-Star game that anybody can say we shouldn't have this moving forward. Right? Like, I mean,
of course.
I think we're good. Like, Rob Manfred came out and he said, we just want to make sure we get the technology right. We want to make sure we do this or whatever. Look, we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've got it right. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing. I think that what we need to do is, I think that it needs to, the playoffs, let's implement it the same way that we've done it. And then just keep it moving forward.
I agree.
I was against the runner on second. I thought it was hokey. I thought it was everything else and all that other kind of stuff. I'll tell you what, I love it now. I do. Watching it, getting used to it and everything else, it's good. It's fantastic. I think that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what we need to do. And we're going to cut right here because I'm going to piss myself.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. And, of course, like, follow, and share on Instagram and TikTok. We love you guys. Make sure you stay tuned for the next episode.
And
Leaves.
comment. Tell
Yeah.
us what you got. Listen, we respond. We respond. We like to interact. Whatever, good, bad, ugly, whatever, all
And
it
you
is.
know what? As Jey Uso
Oh, here he goes.
likes to
Here
do,
he goes, motherfucker.
like as Jey Uso likes to do mid-match, all right, so make sure y'all.
I don't even know what the fuck.
Yeah,
that
he
was.
doesn't know what's going on, but make sure y'all are doing that, right? Comment, like, follow, share. We love to hear from y'all, and we're gonna make new content coming soon. So subscribe, like, follow, share. Thank you, love y'all, and
Out.
4 letters, 1 word, yeet.